live stream starting. Oh, looks like it's live. I got a notification on my phone, which means, yep, we are live. It works. Okay. So I need to get a link, copy URL, paste, tweet. What's up, guys? We clearly have a lot to talk about, but like we can talk about whatever. It's cool. It's just the title, no big deal. What's up? Hey, hello, hi, bro, hi, hello. Volume is too low. Should I bring this closer? Let me know how I sound. Let me know how I sound, because I see video looks pretty okay. Let me get a sound check. What do you guys think? Volume up, increase the volume. Please speak loud. Should I boost it a little bit? This mic volume I can turn up right here. Did that get louder? Yeah, the chat is flying.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, everything sounds good here.
Word.
Can,
How's now? Is it louder than I turned up?
It's gonna take a second to
yeah.
stream noise.
I turned it up about 25%. Still low.
It sounds very loud in the monitor.
Really
so
loud?
I'm hoping it should be good.
Let me hear it on the. Does that get louder? Oh, that's great. That's. There it is. Yeah. There you go. All right. See this mic? It's good. It's got a little volume knob. That's why I linked it below. It's because it's good. All right. This live stream is titled "Phone Updates," hence the phones, and plus a little giveaway update. So, I guess natural place to start would be the giveaway stuff, because that was pretty recent. So the giveaway is pretty awesome. There is obviously plenty of people commenting on, oh god, that's a lot of phones. Why would you give all those away? And it's because I wanted, like I said, to give as many prizes away as possible. There was a pretty hilarious Reddit post actually about, I'm gonna see if I can find it again, about like, here's why I think this giveaway is fake, which is why I have these boxes here. First of all, it's not fake. FYI, I would never do that. I found it. I'm not gonna link to it, but I'll like read some of it, which is pretty. So they're super analyzing the video. Obviously, there's a lot of boxes in the video. None of them have shrink wrap on them. That's because, as I mentioned, Dbrand skinned every single one of those phones. So they took the shrink wrap off, open the box, take the phone out, skin it, put it back, put the thing back together, close it. That's why there's no shrink wrap on the boxes. And yes, every single one of those boxes did have a phone in it, which is why I had all the boxes. He mentions the boxes sound hollow as if there's no phone inside. I don't really know how to quantify that, but all the boxes have phones in them. And we took them all out, and I actually I have a picture. If you want to switch to this camera, I have a picture of some of when we were shooting all of the 25 phones. I don't know if that's glared or if that's even visible, but yeah, there's 25 phones, all equally numbered, red and black. So that's a thing that happened. And I'll share more of those photos probably later on Twitter. But the other funny thing is they were talking about, what do you say? Oh, the IMEI stickers, which if you've seen on the bottom of these boxes is always on the bottom here, like that. But the way this Note 8, they were talking about the Note 8s, the way the Note 8 box is, it has this sleeve on it. So they were curious about why all of the boxes looked blank. It's because we hid all of the IMEI stickers because we didn't want everyone stealing that information or getting in the heads of the people who end up winning these things. You don't want to give out these public IMEI numbers, so we oriented all the boxes so that they were all blank. You can do that by just taking the sleeve off and switching it around and putting the IMEI wherever you want. So we made them all blank on the top just by switching them. And that was that. I think that's about it. People were also freaking out about the fact that that much money was spent on phones for a giveaway. That's just how we do. That's just the way it is out here. So that's pretty much it for that. But what I really want to say for the giveaway is this is a Twitter and Instagram giveaway. So what we were talking about is there's going to be people who try to scam you into thinking you've won. It's going to happen. And because this is, it's a randomization from Twitter and Instagram, Dbrand has they're handling the entire logistics process essentially, so randomizing the cross-section of followers on each social network and actually shipping them out and handling all the import fees wherever you live, all that stuff. So they have all the phones right now for that. But it's also really easy to just try to mass message that group of people. Let me just message everyone who follows Marquez and Dbrand saying I'm Marquez and asking for their shipping and their bank information for import fees. It's not happening like that. First of all, December 25th is the day all the winners get picked. So if someone messages you claiming to be me or claiming to be Dbrand sometime between now and December 25th, clearly it's not. But then on that day of, that's when you'll see all the winners get picked. It's literally a random cross-section generated by code, and that's how it happens. Yeah, that is a red OnePlus 5T. We'll get to these. There's a whole bunch of updates again for the whole title of the stream, but that's the giveaway update. Is there anything I missed there? They just haters. You did this last year. That is true. If you are curious about giveaways I've ever done, I don't do them very often, but last year I gave away 100 OnePlus 3Ts in pretty much the same format, cross-section of social posts, and whoever's following the two accounts is entered to win. Same idea. They all got those phones. They all were given proof on social. It was awesome, actually, giving away that many phones. So, yeah. Where's the Smartphone Awards 2017? Someone asked. That's a December thing. So that'll happen right around the end of the year when I'm pretty sure all of the phones have come out. You've probably noticed one of these phones on the desk is not like the others. This one. Did you guys see the tweet about this one? It was a sad story. This, I mentioned in the review, it's actually sharp at this point. It's literally this. It's not the slipperiest phone ever, but it's the slipperiest iPhone ever. It's got these rounded sides, and it's definitely, you can tell this was my daily driver. I use this phone every day. It slid off a counter, or not a counter, like a dresser, and I left the room for like 10 minutes. So this is what happened. Yesterday, I had my phone up on this counter. It was like face down like that, just like a normal surface like this. I think it was like plastic. Left the room. And a couple minutes later, I'm in the other room, and I hear like this thud. And I was like, what was that sound? And I literally left the room and I went downstairs because I thought the sound came from downstairs, like in the kitchen. I'm looking around like, what fell? Did a salt shaker fall? Like, what is the deal? Couldn't find it. Went back upstairs, one in the other room that I'd left the phone in, and I find this phone on the ground that clearly committed suicide. And people were saying put a skin over it, which actually sometimes works, but in this case, because the glass is so wrecked, it's a little depressed on this side and it's kind of sharp right here, and not even a skin can save that one. So yeah, that one's over. So I put my SIM in another iPhone because I actually have another iPhone, which is pretty awesome, but this would normally cost $550 at an Apple store to fix. It's the most expensive iPhone to fix ever. Obviously that's a lot, and it's the most expensive iPhone ever. This one, I think it's just going to remain like this in posterity. There's chunks of glass missing from around the camera. It's bad. All right, I'll put it away. You guys don't want to see that. There, now there's a clean iPhone on this table. Hey Marquez, the question is how are you going to weed out inactive accounts and bot accounts? That is a challenge, and ideally none of those accounts win, but that's going to be up to Dbrand to like truly randomize the process and pick the winners. Are the phones of the highest capacity? I don't think so. This particular one, I think all the iPhones will be the 999 base model. So what is that, 64 gigs? Or yeah, 64 gigs. And all the notes are the 64 gig as well, I think. What is this? I'm pretty sure the base for both is 64 gigs, so that's what's up. Hi, hello, hi. Did it fall? How did it fall anyway? It just slid. Maybe it got a notification and like my phone like buzzed and like slid off the table, but I can't confirm because I didn't put it near the edge. I would never do that. That means it slid gradually over the course of like several minutes while I was in another room until it fell, that's pretty rough. Yup. Sick. All right. So this is the Android Daily Driver. I think that's the other thing people were asking about. I usually carry 2 phones. That's something that's been the case for at least like 2 years now. I usually carry 1 Android phone and I carry 1 iPhone. So for a while ago for me that was Galaxy Note 8 and iPhone 7 Plus, and then iPhone 8 came out and I switched to iPhone 8. The Android rotation is much faster because I'm testing a bunch of different phones. Lately it was the Razer phone. That's this guy. The sweet 120 hertz display, the massive, amazing front-facing speakers, and it's kind of a rock in terms of build quality. But long story short, like I mentioned in the full review, the camera is so bad that it's an actual deal breaker for me, and I had to switch back to the Pixel because the camera is that good. And the thing is, I think Danny tweeted this. Danny Winget, Super Scientific, tweeted this recently, but it's something I think the same about, which is camera comparisons for a while are not really ruined, but will be a little less interesting because the Pixel 2 crushes everything in the camera department, and it's not that close. Like iPhone 10 has a pretty great camera, and then Pixel 2 is still clearly better. It's like when you have a clear 1-2 in the world in a sport. It's crazy. I don't know. Anyway, so that's Razer phone, but that's what I've switched to. So my daily right now is the iPhone 10 256 silver and the Pixel 2 128 Panda. I know some of you call this the Penguin. It's not. It's a Panda. Although I get why you call it the Penguin, I'm just saying it's a little late to switch. What's good? Let me look at these. Look at this chat. The chat is, oh my god, the chat is flying.
Almost hit 30,000.
Oh wow.
We got 29.
That would explain why it's flying. What is good? What's good? All right, here's another phone we can move on to. OnePlus 5T. This is okay, so again, these are all phones, and this is in the description. Besides these two, these are all phones that I haven't reviewed yet. OnePlus 5T I did a top 5 features on, and I really like this phone a lot. It's a well-built, it's kind of like a Blade. They didn't make the battery any bigger, so it's still a pretty thin phone, and it's got this red D-brand skin on it, so it looks pretty slick right now. But this is a really good phone for under 500 bucks. It's $479, I want to say. The killer feature of this phone, and I want to stress the difference between this and the iPhone 10, the killer feature on this phone turns out to be that face unlock, which I don't know if I can demonstrate it here. It's kind of hard to see. I don't know if you can you see that? Is that on the screen right now? If I turn this off, point it towards me. It's hard to point it towards me and unlock it. It's the fastest face unlock I've ever used on a phone, which has a lot of people talking about like, well, this is way better than Face ID. It's that much faster. Here's the thing. Those are two very different, although they seem the same, very different technologies. So here's the difference. Face ID on the iPhone 10 is an entire replacement to Touch ID. It is a secure thing. It does your phone unlock, but it also does your bank transactions, your Apple ID, your purchasing of apps, everything. It uses the true depth sensor. It uses the front-facing information, bounces all these lasers off your face, or is it? It's infrared, so I don't know if I can call it lasers. Bounces all the infrared dots off your face, creates a depth map, recognizes you in multiple scenarios. If you grow a mustache or your face ages slightly, it recognizes you because of a learning algorithm. All this stuff, Face ID is really smart. So that's why it does all those things, but it also takes a second. You take your phone out of your pocket, and then it unlocks. Like, it's a second to actually get into your phone. Where everyone looks at now this new face front-facing camera on the OnePlus, looks at you, instantly unlocks. Seems like it must be better, right? Seems like it must be better, but it's not. It only uses the front-facing camera. Face ID doesn't use the front-facing camera at all. It uses all the invisible sensors that you don't see. This uses only the front-facing camera, meaning it's susceptible to potentially some of the same security risks that would come from not getting that extra information. Number one, doesn't use as much depth information. I couldn't fool it with a photo. I actually printed a photo of myself and tried to unlock it and like give it some depth and everything. That didn't work. But OnePlus already acknowledges, I think, internally that it's not quite to the same level of security. So they have a fingerprint reader on the back still, first of all. So they kept that. So keep using that for the more secure things. That's what it's good for. But it also won't work in low light. It won't work if you're super backlit. These are all things that you can shine infrared light on yourself with in Face ID, and it'll still work. This won't work at night. Face ID, facial recognition won't work at night. It's using a low light camera. It won't work when you're backlit because these cameras struggle when you're backlit. So certain things like that separate these two experiences and what they're good at. Overall, though, OnePlus 5T's turned out to be pretty freaking sweet for this amount of money. What other questions do you guys have about this OnePlus 5T or any of this stuff on the desk? Someone has giveaway question. If I don't use my Twitter and Instagram, will my account be considered a bot and disqualified? No. As long as you're following the rules, which there are only 2, follow both accounts, then you'll win. Steve Jobs dropped that iPhone? What? Which phone here has the longest battery life during regular operation? I would give that award to Razer phone, which right now is edging out Pixel 2 and iPhone 10. Probably Pixel 2 in second place, iPhone 10 in third place. iPhone 10 battery life isn't quite as good as iPhone 8 Plus, which has that smaller screen and bigger cell, so I'd put that a little bit below the Pixel, but right now your best battery life bet is actually the Razer phone. What's up? What product are you looking forward to most? Camera or phones or other cool tech? Honestly, I have to say Tesla Roadster, which is probably not the most common answer, but I have to say it. I'm looking forward to that tech. Electric motors, massive batteries in cars. What's up, fam? Marquez, thanks for all you do. Thanks for watching. I hope one day my channel will be even half this size. This is what I love to do. Thanks for inspiring. Again, thanks for watching, and I'm glad to be in a position where the videos I make get seen by people who are also encouraged to make videos themselves. Is it worth upgrading from Pixel XL to Pixel 2 XL? Oh, I've been having a few minor issues and it's very tempting. So if you have been having issues, it seems like you're looking for an upgrade, in which case I'd say, yeah, this is a great phone to upgrade to. But a lot of people are considering either, they have like an even older phone and they're considering, do I buy Pixel 2 XL or Pixel XL right now? Both of them are new. In which case, you could probably save your money and still get a great phone with future software updates and a great camera and great performance in stock Android in the Pixel XL, the OG. But if you're having issues, you will not be disappointed in this phone, pretty sure. I'd be curious what issues you have with the Pixel though. How's the battery of the 5T compared to the 5? It's been all right. I mean, it's not notably better or worse. People have been complaining about the fact that the battery is not bigger, even though it's a bigger phone and a bigger screen. And that's because they didn't make the phone any thicker, so it's still, I think, a 3,000 milliamp hour cell. But it's a pretty good battery life still. No complaints from me. Have you upgraded the Pixel to the latest beta, and have you noticed a visual difference? Oh man, that has been fun. Okay, yeah, I do want to show you guys this. I didn't even put this in the notes, but okay. The Pixel got an update. You know how there was all the complaints about the display of the Pixel 2? This is almost funny to me how massive of a change they made. Of like all the colors look muted, it looks really dull, sRGB doesn't really pop for me, and this AMOLED display has so much more range, why don't you guys use it? So they pushed an update to make the saturated mode a little bit more crazy. I wonder if I can show this. All right, here's my home screen right now. Am I off with the glare? Is this good?
Yeah, bend down a little more. Yeah.
Like that?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way, I hope this comes through in the live stream. It might not, but that's the way the phone looks in the boosted mode. Now if I go into our display settings here, someone making a lot of noise, you have your colors. This is the boosted mode, and in a normal mode, again, I go home. This is the original sRGB everyone's complaining about. You know, it's still pretty dull, not too bad, but boosted is what I've been using, and people are complaining this doesn't really change much. It's not really boosted enough. I want that Samsung full saturated look. So what they did with the software update was they added this saturated mode, and when you click it, everything gets blasted in saturation. Oh man, it's really hard to show the colors here, but like it's gone to the next level of like oversaturation. I almost think they like wanted to make people regret asking for it, because it's so much more saturated in this mode than it is in natural or boosted. So that's what I wanted to show you. But I'll just leave it on boosted. It looks legit too saturated when you put it in that saturated mode, so I just leave it in boosted. It's crazy though. Why no Pixel 2 XL giveaway? Oh, that's because this phone is even harder to get than an iPhone 10. Trying to get 25 Pixel 2 XLs, that'd be pretty tough. And also because the fact that I kind of wanted it to be that $1,000 phone giveaway where iPhone 10 is $1,000. Do you want to buy it? Maybe, maybe not, but if it's free, I'll do it. And then Android's version of that, Pixel 2 isn't $1,000, but Note 8 is. So that's the same thing on the Android side. $1,000, do I really want to spend that much? Maybe not, but if you win it, it's great. So that's why we went with Note over Pixel. Obviously, I'm sure people would be happy getting a free one either way. What are your thoughts about a 5-inch screen with no bezels for a smaller phone? I have a large hand, but I find the iPhone 10 and S8 are too tall. Yeah, that would be nice. So iPhone 10 is a 5.8-inch display. I would actually want and that's corner to corner, I believe, when you measure it, even though it's a little bit narrower. I would want a bigger iPhone 10 display. I think I would be cool with like a 6.2-inch iPhone 10, so that would be like an iPhone 10 Plus. And we've seen these rumors of it start to pop up now. It's never too early for iPhone rumors. But this is that 5.8-inch corner to corner. And I think a 5-inch corner to corner, like a smaller version like that, would also be pretty nice. The thing is, Apple never really makes 3 of the same form factor iPhone. It's always 1 or 2. So I don't think that's going to happen. But I'm interested to see how they handle it next year. How does the second camera on the 5T work? What is intelligent pixel technology? That is a great question. I don't know. I would love to find out. That chat is flying. But that's my, okay, so here's the way they describe it to me. And all of their logic makes sense except for the fact that I don't know how they do it. Their logic with the dual cameras on the back of this phone is, you know, we don't need a telephoto camera to do portrait mode. We can do it with AI, which, okay, great. Other phones are doing that too. They still have portrait mode. That's cool. So what is the second camera for? A second camera is a special low light camera. It has an f1.7 aperture. Okay, well, the primary camera also has an f1.7 aperture, so that's a little confusing. Why is this second camera better at low light besides that? It isn't optically stabilized as far as I know, so it's the same aperture, different sensor, same aperture, different sensor, both no OIS. What's better about it? They call it intelligent pixel technology, and here's what they say it does, is it combines, and it's also a higher megapixel count. It's a 20-something megapixel camera, 21, versus a smaller megapixel count, so the pixels are smaller, worse for low light. This technology combines 4 pixels into 1. Don't know what that means, physically speaking, but that gives you a 4 times larger pixel for better low light performance and better high ISO sensitivity. That's intelligent pixel technology, and that's why it'll take that sensor in the lowest of low light scenarios. Here's the thing, when I think about physics and like the physical sensors and what they do, a pixel is a pixel no matter what. If you take this 21 megapixel sensor and spread it out over this area, each physical pixel is a certain size, and you don't just dissolve the border between pixels to make bigger ones. Like, I'm not sure what they mean by combines 4 pixels into 1. So that's my challenge with understanding that. And the fact that it doesn't work that well leads me to believe it's not doing the sort of magic it implies it does. It's pretty okay sometimes, but oftentimes the main camera does just as well, if not better, in low light. So they probably could have just gone with one camera like the Pixel 2 and just focused on that entirely. That's just me though. I haven't used any Android till now. Is it worth upgrading to iPhone 8? If yes, 8 or 8 Plus. Oh, you've only used Android? Well, yeah, if you watch my iPhone 8 review, that's a pretty good phone too. iPhone 8 and 8 Plus are great. I prefer big phones. What about these other phones on the table? Since we kind of have them there, I might as well steamroll through these real quick. Oh, if your stream is lagging, refresh the browser. Like if stuff is getting choppy, or if your internet connection's being weird, or stuff's dropping off, or if you didn't get that audio update, just refresh it once. It'll probably all be good. All right, the rest of these phones, right? Okay, so I have Pixel 2. This is the daily. iPhone 10 is the daily. That's the thing. We have OnePlus 5T, which I talked about. We have this phone here. This is a kind of an oddball. This is Blackberry Motion. This is not your typical phone. Is this in that frame right there? Not your typical phone, because BlackBerry usually puts keyboards on their phones. They didn't put one on this phone. Jeez. They didn't put one on this phone. They just put a full touchscreen and virtual keyboard, which looks like that. Or if you don't want to put it in the browser, no thanks. Virtual keyboard looks like that. That's the BlackBerry keyboard. It's kind of a weird thing, because BlackBerry used to, people buy BlackBerries to get either the keyboard or the business apps and everything BlackBerry does well. It still has that. It still has BlackBerry Hub in there. It still has all these BlackBerry features that you saw on the Priv and previous BlackBerries, but it's all touchscreen now, and I haven't really even gotten, oh, it has an activity button. I haven't gotten the chance to use this full time, but I'm just kind of observing it for now and what it does well. It kind of stands up flat by itself, so that's a good plus. It's always good when a phone does that. Case in point. Oh God, now the pressure is mounting. I have to be able to do this. Okay, maybe not. But flat bottom, USB-C, speaker, headphone jack. Big deal for some people. There's a headphone jack. The buttons are pretty solid, clicky. It's a lot of metal, to be honest. And the carbon fiber isn't actually carbon fiber. It's this coated plastic material, but it looks pretty cool. So it's a BlackBerry. Again, the fingerprint reader here is underneath this like logoed button, and you have those big buttons on the bottom. But yeah, man, it's still got big bezels. Can you see that? Still got big bezels. Top bezel, bottom bezel is pretty big. So I'm not convinced this is going to save BlackBerry. I feel like I've said that sentence maybe 12 times in videos, but this is a thing that exists now. Blackberry Motion. Good luck, BlackBerry. Okay. Doogee Mix 2. Literally just got this. Haven't even booted it up yet, but remember the original Doogee Mix I made a video about in the smartphones versus, no, 2017 versus bezels video with smartphones. Dang, that is some weird spam. You guys are just blasting emojis. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. This is the sequel to it, I guess. It says Doogee on the bottom again. It has dual cameras in this orientation now. It has a fingerprint reader on the back in the middle, which is the right place. Good job there. But a lot of other weird... This is a heavy phone, and I believe it's ceramic, which is why it feels like this. It's a big, heavy build. Has metal all the way around. It has a premium look now. Someone said, what about red hydrogen? Damn, I don't know, man. That's... You guys were asking about red hydrogen like weeks ago. Like, do you have any updates to that? I don't know. All I got from Red was what they told me when I made that video, and that video that I made about the red hydrogen has everything I'm allowed to say about it. So I don't have any updates, nothing news coming from them. But to people like me who've put down money for it, It's getting to be about that time, so looking out for that. But yeah, no, that's definitely something. What if that comes out right around the smartphone awards? That could be a weird one. We'll see. We'll keep that updated. But that's the Doogee Mix. I haven't even really used it yet. It's just like, here's your first look. Bezels are a little bigger, actually. It goes back to the traditional top-bottom bezels. Looks like it has an extra sensor there. I should really boot it up and use it, but there it is. MKBHD seems electric cars will be the first to experience solid-state batteries. When do you expect to see SSBs in cell phones and other smaller tech? Solid-state batteries in cell phones, I don't know exactly what that means yet, so I'm going to have to look that up. Is it in electric cars already? Because I don't think that's any different from the way it already is. Electric cars use these lithium-ion batteries we already see out there. Panasonic's been making them for years. So I don't know how long we'll see it in cars or in phones. With all this tech in your life, do you feel like you need digital detox? If you mean unplugging, then sometimes yes, I just do unplug, like on a weekend for Ultimate Frisbee or whatever I'm doing, but highly recommend it. Okay, this last phone that I'm just gonna blaze through real quick because it's kind of neat is what's called, what is it? Here, the box is pretty sweet, and it's maybe one of the coolest boxes of any phone this year. I wish I did an unboxing, but look at this. Look at that. How about that unboxing experience? It all just kind of unfolds. This is Meizu Pro 7 Plus. This is what the actual phone looks like, and the one thing you may notice about it that's kind of weird is it has a screen on the back. It has a 2-inch color screen on the back of the phone. And it works by cycling between these various displays. Now, it's still a full-on screen and phone on the front, which it has this impressionable home button right now. You unlock it by swiping up. You go to multitasking, just like an iPhone, by swiping up. There you go. It's definitely got a heavy skin on it, so if you're not into skins, this is not going to make you happy, but this is a Meizu phone, so you kind of know what you're getting into. But the thing about it is, people have been talking about that screen on the back. You have the settings for it right here, secondary display. You can set a different wallpaper for the secondary display. Right now it's the camera. You go back and you can decide to show pedometer, weather. Maybe it's kind of motivating to see how many steps you've taken every time you look around at the back of the phone. I just wish it was more consistent with activating. Bam, 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 bam. There it is. Your weather. If I had taken 500 steps today, it would show me every time there. So that's kind of neat, I guess. It's not a life changer. It's not going to make me want to never use a phone without this again, but it's maybe kind of cool. Someone says, why didn't you do a V30 review? It's a good phone. That's a great question because we've had so many other reviews and so many other things we've done in the last couple of weeks and months that by the time, like, it would be around now that I'm getting to reviewing the V30, it's almost like too late. I did the top features video of it and none of that's different, so that's kind of why I'm talking about it now. Where's my V30? Oh, it's still charging over there. I meant to have it here. But, okay. Do you think Galaxy S9 will be launched soon? Keep up the good work. Thanks. No, I think Galaxy S9 is going to be April. That tends to be when that comes out. There we go. V30. So here's your V30. This would be the most expensive phone that's not a flagship over here. So it's not the Pixel. It's not the iPhone. But it is more expensive than all of these. It's about an $800 phone right now. Yeah, still a great phone. Still a great phone. V30, in case you're wondering, has the dual cameras, has the super wide-angle camera on the back instead of the telephoto. But this might be the most impressive video camera in a phone, well, obviously of this year, so likely ever. It has all the manual controls. It has an S-Log mode, so LG already has great camera tech, and now they're using it to capture extra dynamic range and extra information. If you're a video person, this might be one of the best phones to get to fiddle around with that. Obviously, most people, when they record video, they just go straight to auto mode and then just hit the record button and go. But if you're not that guy, then this is a really interesting look. So V30 is quite unique. Has a headphone jack. There you go. Right up top. Note 8 iPhone 10, yes, that's a thing. Which of these phones will survive the long run? P.S. I got the OnePlus 5. That's always a golden question. I tend to give my nod to the flagships as far as surviving. I've used OnePlus phones also for multiple years, so I would give the nod to OnePlus 5 for probably surviving the long run. OnePlus 5T will probably also survive. LG V30, people have had, the weirdest issue I've ever seen with LG phones is their boot looping, which has happened as recently as the G5 I've seen, but I think LG is pretty much certified. Pixel 2 and iPhone 10 definitely gonna last the long run. Apple tends to update their phones for the longest out of anyone, and Pixel being in line for I think 2, 3, 4 years of updates is probably also gonna survive the long run. So I give the nod to probably these two first for surviving the longest, these two on the second tier for surviving the longest, and then Blackberry, who knows, Doogee, question mark, and then Meizu has their own ROM. So Razer phone, that's also a toss-up. Does Razer even make another phone next year? Are we getting a Razer phone 2? Who knows? Hopefully. I want to see it. I want to see 120 Hz OLED. That's what I want to see. Do you have a problem with edge lighting not working while the screen is off on the Note 8? No, it's usually been fine for me. It's pretty good for the alarm clock, actually, because I have the alarm clock set on my Note 8. It would be set to like gradually increase volume. And so it would start off the volume really low, and then the edge lighting would kind of light up the table that it's on. It's pretty soothing, to be honest. We're learning a lot about our A6300 and live streaming. Turns out A6300 sometimes overheats when it's in live stream for too long, when it's on and the sensor's cooking. So that's why we're talking to this angle for a little bit. Can we expect, holy smokes, that is exactly what I'm working on. Can I confirm it? Someone said, can we expect a portrait mode explained video? That's the exact title of the video that I'm working on. So yeah, sure. You can expect that. You hear that? I deal with that all the time. But yeah, that's pretty much the gamut of what I wanted to talk through as far as this live stream goes. Anyone else have any questions? People are talking to the super chat, but not really asking questions. So there's plenty of fast moving. Giveaway update, please. I gave you the giveaway update at the beginning, so if you want to scroll back to that, feel free to look at that. Audio's behind a bit. That may happen if any lag happens, you can just refresh and, oh, audio's out of sync now. All right, maybe that's a cue to end it.
It's like a tad behind
Oh,
for some reason.
that makes sense.
So
when it comes back to this one, we're good. Got it. But yeah, no, that's pretty much all I had to say for the live stream. So you got your giveaway update. You got your smartphone updates, talk through a bunch of stuff. Any questions you may have, this is definitely the time to ask. We can answer a couple, like a fast moving, what do you call it? Speed round or whatever, lightning questions. Bitcoin, oh man, Bitcoin. See, I took a class, I've taken classes in college where we talked about Bitcoin, and this was years ago, and we were shocked years ago at how fast and how consistent it was moving. And this is like, I'm now 2 years out of college, and Bitcoin just yesterday passed $10,000 for 1 unit, for 1 Bitcoin. And then this morning passed 11,000. In that time, I signed up for Coinbase and bought my first Bitcoin. So I'm in at around $11,000 for a Bitcoin. I don't want to put a ton into it. I think it'll be interesting to see if it keeps going, if it starts to become... The reason it's so hyped in the US, at least right now, is because you're starting to be able to pay for things with Bitcoin a little bit more. It's trickled a little bit more. Down payments for cars in Bitcoin, down payments for major purchases in Bitcoin, large electronics expenses using Bitcoin to pay for it. And because 1 Bitcoin is $11,000, you often pay for something in like 0.0774813 Bitcoin. And that's cool. You can do that. But then Bitcoin is also convertible back and forth between cash, between US dollars, and it's pretty liquid. So in a short matter of time, you can buy $10,000 in Bitcoin, wait for it to go up to $12,000, sell it, and then use that money to go do whatever. So that's what a lot of people are doing, are just buying Bitcoin over and over again. And the price, as people keep buying it, it just keeps going up. As the demand keeps going up, price keeps going up, and it just keeps rising. So let me check what it is right now. I just installed Coinbase this morning when I went to go do that. How much is Bitcoin? Let me refresh. Bitcoin, $11,080. It's up $1,145, which is 12% today. So long story short, really interesting. Again, I haven't been investing in Bitcoin at all. I just got in. Obviously, it's not the ideal point to invest in Bitcoin, but I'm just kind of curious, so this will give me a reason to keep track of it a little more. But yeah, that is a weird one. Anyway, okay, that's been it for this live stream. Shout out to the 20,000 of you still watching. I think that's pretty awesome. I'm going to leave this stream up probably for people to catch up on all these updates and to know about the giveaway, but that's pretty much it. We're going to cut it. If you have any questions about the live stream equipment we used, I'll link that below. Any of the video I talked about, I'll link that below. The giveaway is below. That's been it. Thank you for watching. Talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.